Hey guys, it's Toby from Top Crypto. I'm just wanting to do a quick video on the Luna situation. I know a lot of you guys listen to me because of Splinterlands content. If you wait until the very end of this video, I will sort of touch on what this means for Splinterlands and what we can learn from it in terms of Splinterland and the game and the assets within that game. But if you're new to crypto, you probably even heard about this, the Luna Terra crash. One of the top 10 cryptocurrencies has absolutely died over the last few days. It's absolutely crashed. It's gone from highs of $119.18 all the way down to less than, you know, 1/100,000th of a cent or something. Absolutely fractions of a penny, which would cause, you know, people to lose basically any money they had invested into it. Has basically gone to nothing. I was reading articles about up to 3 people being linked to suicide in lieu of all the events that happened, but basically Luna was worth, you know, roughly just over $80 prior to the collapse, and as you can see on this chart, has just fallen off a cliff, and, you know, like I said, gone to literally fractions of a cent. So how did all this happen? Well, that's a great question. What went wrong? Well, in short, the algorithms that backed the UST token, which was a stable coin which was heavily linked to Luna, it was released by Luna on the Terra blockchain, basically was meant to stay at $1 and it failed. It basically dropped and went down to, like, started off at like 95 cents, 95% of the dollar, went down to like 80 cents, and then people realized, because a lot of people were holding UST as basically it's just like having cash in the bank, but instead you've got it in crypto in your crypto wallet. You know, a lot of traders hold UST and use that to trade, buy in and out of the market. So you purchase, buy, sell, trade, short, long, whatever your cryptos, and then, you know, sell for a stable coin. And if you would have been doing that with UST, you would have lost a lot of money over the last couple of days. So basically, the algorithm that set up Luna was basically the way it worked, and I'm not an absolute expert in this, but the way it kind of works from my understanding is that the Luna token was burnt every time USD tokens were minted. So the Luna currency kind of was a peg to the cryptocurrency, the UST cryptocurrency, and that you basically, the formulas and the way that worked was it failed, basically, in short. So there was also one other thing that sort of was a backup that they had in the Luna Foundation, was they owned a lot of Bitcoin, and they used that as sort of a hedge against if something went wrong within these algorithms. So they had $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin, and what basically happened was Bitcoin sort of went down in value. It lost its peg, and somewhere this coding that they had done had not anticipated, you know, things that were happening within the cryptocurrency market that these algorithms sort of pegged themselves off of, and it basically sent the Luna token into a death spiral, because everyone was just trying to offload their UST, you know, and their Luna token essentially lost value because people had obviously seen that this blockchain had failed, and they were essentially selling Luna, selling UST, and then Bitcoin itself sort of crashed in the process because it caused an instant sell-off of this $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin to essentially sort of try and recoup the losses that Terra Luna was having with everything that was going on. And basically what happened, as I understand it, is the Luna token just kept creating more and more tokens because of this algorithm failure, and it was trying to fix itself up, and essentially it was outsmarted, and it was basically like a program error within your computer software. Essentially is a probably good example what you can compare it to. But you know, it went from, like, you know, hundreds of millions, or, you know, a billion Luna, to trillions and trillions of Luna. So Terra token has actually turned into basically a Shiba Inu token that has absolutely crap loads of tokens in supply. And then obviously all the, you know, everyone in the market's lost trust in it, because this is just such a, it's probably the worst thing I've seen. I know the BitConnect thing happened, but BitConnect was not as big as Luna when that happened. And the thing with BitConnect is most people could kind of see that was a bit of a scam anyhow. So it only sort of hoodwinked people who didn't have a lot of crypto sort of education at the time. So this has been an absolute tragedy, and I feel sorry for anyone out there who's been affected for it. My best mate lost $5 grand. He didn't even realize this was happening, and then obviously must have got an alert or something somewhere on his socials or an email, and then it's like, oh, Luna's crashed, and realized that his $5,000 is now worth like fractions, and like not even like hundreds and thousandths of a cent. So there was some conspiracy around this, that, you know, like I was saying before, some people sort of have been posting this thread that's been going around BlackRock and a number of other large Citadel and other large sort of hedge funds out there using their capital to sort of purchase a large amount of UST and then shorting Bitcoin, and then, you know, obviously they would have had to have known a hell of a lot about how the Luna algorithm worked, and essentially, you know, it's like saying you understand that there was a flaw in the technology, and you purposely thrown an absolute crap ton of money at this to essentially short Luna, short everything, and then, you know, knowing that it's going to sort of die in value, and then you can honestly sort of make money off the cryptocurrency going down in value. My personal opinion on that is it seems a little bit far-fetched and just a very large risk to take. Now, I'm not saying it hasn't happened, but, you know, just personally, I would find it very difficult to feel comfortable doing that. Obviously, the design was terrible. They hadn't obviously foreseen that this was going to happen when they were creating the Luna token. They, you know, when you set up software, you run stress tests on it essentially to see where it fails, and this is all part of the when, you know, you get, you know, when you get your cryptocurrency verified by third parties and all that, they should be looking at these situations. But a lot of these third party verifiers that do this checking as well, it's just a bit of a money making scam anyhow, and they don't really care about going into too much detail into, you know, how effective the cryptocurrency and the infrastructure it runs on is set up. And this was missed. The team missed it. Everyone missed it. You know, obviously they would have had to have predicted this situation happening to be able to test it. They've obviously had a massive amount of oversight, and they haven't been able to pick this up, and consequently millions of people's lives have probably been affected by this. You know, is there a future for Luna? Can it recover? Well, it's definitely hard to know for sure. I mean, there's a lot of faith that's been lost in the team. I mean, are you going to be comfortable investing your hard-earned money into this project when you've seen that they've already sort of massively sort of stuffed up, and, you know, the way they've set up their cryptocurrency was not foolproof, and it's actually failed? So can you have faith that they can overcome this? Well, it's going to take time. I've heard, you know, some theories going around there that Do Kwon wants to take a snapshot essentially of when Luna, before Luna sort of went into this death spiral with the massive amount of mintings that led to trillions of Luna being available in the circulating supply, and then sort of trying to reimburse every wallet that had Luna at that point by essentially burning all of these trillions of tokens and taking it back to where it was, which sounds like it sounds alright. I don't know, in theory, but and that seems like honestly, that does seem like the most fairest thing to happen. But then, you know, now there is millions of people, so basically people investing into Luna after that, you know, they would have to create some sort of, and you can do it, you can figure out how much, you know, that you can figure out the percentage of total supply in every wallet at the time, because obviously it's increasing at such a fast pace. You know, say you were trying to buy the dip on the Luna crash, you could essentially, you know, say you bought 1 million Luna tokens for, I think, like 100. I've seen posts where people like getting 1 million of them for like $100 or something. You could then say, well, okay, at that time the circulating supply was X. This million tokens was you know, 1/1000% or whatever of that circulating supply. So we're going to burn all of the tokens, and you will be given with the same, you know, because obviously that is that percentage of the new, you know, re-minted Luna token that is back to where it was obviously before all the crap hit the fan. So where to from here? Well, I've kind of summarized that in what I just said. What sort of happens to the market in general? Every major news agency is laughing at crypto once again. It's very hard to be sort of have a positive feel. I think we need to ride this out for the next year or two. Basically, the only people who are investing in crypto at the moment are people in crypto. We're not getting money coming from, you know, outside of it, and that's what's gonna. So it's just a redistribution of the wealth essentially amongst all the tokens that are on the market at the moment. So, you know, we probably just need to ride this out. There is a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt, not just in the cryptocurrency space, but in every space at the moment. Real estate, stocks, you know, probably gold's probably not so much. It's usually a bit of a hedge against fear, uncertainty, doubt in you know, all the assets I mentioned before. So I'm still going to be collecting you know, tokens over this next, you know, if it plays out for a year or two, I'm going to be stocking up, because this is probably where I will make the most of my money on the next bull run. Like the last bull run we've been through, I was making 20, 40, 100x on certain tokens. And, you know, the more I can accumulate in this sort of run, which was what I did back then, I was buying all through a similar sort of period where myself included, I didn't think that we may ever bounce back from the all-time highs of the 2017 bull run, but I'm going to keep hodling and keep accumulating over this time. What can we learn from this? If you're a Splinterlands investor, well, like you've seen from my previous videos, we don't want to just keep increasing the supply of cards, because that's what sends cards down in value. We want to reduce the supply that's out there, because the more cards we mint, the more that are out there, the more easier it is to access, the less money those cards are going to be worth. And, you know, if you're looking at buying cards in Splinterlands, you really need to look at how good the cards are. That's the main key indicator at the moment. If you want to see price appreciation, these cards need to be cards that get you wins, are fun to play with, have an added advantage, boost your win rate quite a lot, because those cards are, you know, going to go up in value, because utility trumps supply, and we're not seeing a lot of demand coming into Splinterlands at present. So we want to sort of be stocking up on utility, and even once the demand comes, utility still trumps the supply demand sort of thing, as I've shown you in my previous videos. So that's all I wanted to share with you guys today. If you guys are still watching this, you obviously like what I have to share here, please hit me a like. That would be really encouraging for me. And if you want to see more content from me at Top Crypto, hit the subscribe button, guys, because I'll keep it coming for you. Thanks for all the support, guys. This is Toppy from Top Crypto. Have a good one.